Hey guys, Huzzy bringing you another video. Now, welcome to patch 9.4 patch notes. So again, don't do patch note videos every single time, but I've heard through the grapevine that this is a incredibly big patch. And judging by, which you can't see right now, judging by the scroll bar, like when you're on the website, yeah, this is big. Which is a bit weird, because, you know, Riot said they weren't going to do as big patches, and now there's a huge one. So we've got a lot to go through, so I will say I was tempted to do a joint video on patch notes of TFT and League. I decided just to do League because of how big this patch is. And what you can do, again, these videos aren't normally the biggest videos for views. If you can just smash the like button to help me out, that would mean a bunch. And also, feel free to comment in this video, what do you think about the patch notes? Is there something you agree with, disagree with? Give me your opinions, I'd love to know them. So, this patch is big, so we're just going to get through like the bulk of this. Again, the main points are anti-shield, anti-healing, flat damage reduction, improvements to true sight mechanics, and anti-mobility. So some big changes upcoming, and actually some new mechanics in League of Legends, which is kind of crazy. So the two new skins for this patch are Demacia Vice. You've got Demacia Vice Lucian, Demacia Vice Garen. Obviously kind of like Miami Vice, but in the future. Like a cop duo of those two. Kind of like a lethal weapon thing going on here. So that's a thing, apparently. Right, so there are separate TFT patch notes as well. Here we go. Anti-shielding champions. Blitzcrank and Renekton's new anti-shielding effects specifically break damage absorbing shields. So for a long time, shields have been a bit of a problem. When the Ardent meta was in and everything, people were expecting this a while ago. That, you know, if you have a Lulu support, Karma top, anything that just gives shields, it's a bit like, how do we break a Draven's shield? It's too big. He has a Bloodthirster or something. And a Phantom Dancer that gives all shields. So we've been expecting this for a while. So Blitzcrank's his ultimate is EMP, which I think is actually a really cool use. Like, that goes really well. Static Field now removes shields on enemies before its other effects. So just removes the shield. So again, if you're going for a shield the Vayne comp or something, he runs to your Vayne, you shield her, again, obviously it has to be a timing thing, shields, but you press R, boof, the shield's gone, which is quite powerful. It's a powerful tool if you're building a shield comp, obviously. The other one that surprises me is Renekton. So for me, Blitzcrank, it makes sense, it's an EMP, right? That kind of goes. Why does Renekton have one? Again, for top lane, if you think about it logically, Renekton actually could become... He's pretty strong now. I play him a bit. But, like, the champions that have shields... So, Camille top lane technically has a shield with a passive. Riven has a shield. Karma top lane has a shield. Nico gets a shield with her ultimate. A lot of top laners have shields. Urgot has a shield with his E. And if Renekton is already a lane bully, then can break their shields and just completely outtrade them, he could be big. Like, Renekton really could show up big time. So, Breaking Glass angrily destroys existing shields on targets when empowered with 50 Fury before its existing effect. So, you have to have at least 50 Fury and press W on the target. But that's part of your normal rotation as Renekton. Like, it's just giving you crazy good trade if you're against something that has a shield. But obviously, you know, not just in the top lane sense, this will make Renekton want to prioritize the targets that's going to be obviously shielded. Again, yeah, I like both of them. They're starting with two, I presume, just to see how it goes. Blitzcrank not that popular of a champion. Renekton more so. But yeah, it's going to be useful to me, and as somebody that plays Renekton a bit, I'm definitely wanting to experiment with this. It's going to be interesting. Anti-healing champions. While all other current healing reduction sources in the game caps out of 40, they're putting two champions that can actually do more than that. So, you have her Katarina, her ultimate, when people get hit by stuff, her blades, they get a 60% healing reduction instead of the average 40. And remember, you know, that was before I think a Katarina even got Morellonomicon. She just had that part of her ultimate. And then Kled, Q pulls, now applies healing reduction. So when you latch your Q to somebody and it actually, like, you know, pulls them back, boom, it applies a healing reduction for 5 seconds. Really interesting. So for top play, like, I will say, Do you know what I think they've kind of hurt here a lot? And, it kind of makes sense, I guess. One big pick with healing reduction, shield reduction, healing reduction here, Karma top lane. So Karma top lane, I've been playing it, a little bit. It's really good because you can't punish it, right? Well, it's got shields. Well, Renekton now can deal with shields better. And Kled, she heals. Karma's ultimate W heals her, keeps her alive. That's the strength of it. Boom, less healing for her. So Kled could become a bigger pick. Also, just for Kled, when he's against a Renekton, he's against a Darius. Those champions heal. Akali heals. Nasa's heals. A lot of top laners heal. Aurelia heals with her Q. Could see more Kled too. I like Kled. I like Renekton. So these are both good things I'm happy about. So thumbs up from me. Then we have flat damage reduction champions. So Leona and Fizz will now be a little stronger up against opponents with death by 1,000 cuts type of damage patterns, like on hit or DOT champions, damage over the time. So, passive of Fizz, it now gives damage reduction. It used to be against only basic attacks that Fizz used to get damage reduction. It is now against all sources of damage, with a maximum of 50% reduction, and it gets a flat 4% damage reduction plus an AP ratio, which is a low AP ratio, I grant you, but again, it's against all damage sources. So let's say he has, 40 damage reduction in the end game, add that up in a team fight, and if he gets hit by 10 abilities in a team fight, he'll be taking 400 damage less, kinda, unless it's true damage. That's pretty good. And again, he's a quite slippery assassin anyway. I just dropped my drink. That's interesting. And again, the damage reduction, flat damage reduction for a non-tank is interesting to me, but there we go. And then Leona. So they're removing... Leona no longer gains empowered basic attacks after casting Solar Flare. So that kind of sucks because that's where Leona actually got a decent amount of damage in trading, but they are giving her a buff maybe to her W. Interesting. So it's a nerf for the resistances because her W used to obviously give resistances, but now it's giving her Eclipse. Eclipse now grants damage mitigation with a maximum of 50%, and by rank it's 8%, 12, or 8, 12, 16, 24, 24. So again, pretty good. That's going to be a decent amount. And remember, that is just flat amount of damage. Like, any damage that isn't true damage is now, less by Leona. And to put it into perspective, and again, there's going to be maths that we're not going to get into, and I'm sure Riot have worked it out. I would think this is a buff, but they're taking away 5 armor at rank number 1, but they're giving her flat 8 damage reduction. And if I'm not mistaken, damage reduction of how it's weighted is weighted the same that armor or magic resistance would be weighted as well. So 1 damage reduction is like having 1 armor, I think. So technically this is a buff of tankiness. In late game, however, what would it be? So they took 25 off the maximum of the armor, but then they're giving 24. So at maximum rank, it's a 1 nerf. If I'm correct in thinking that 1 damage reduction is the same as 1 armor, which it might not be, but I think it is. Someone can correct me what's correct in the comments. Again, I would look, but obviously I'm recording right now. I want to continue. But all of those seem interesting to me. It's exploring new avenues. If this is popular, they might give it on to more champions. I'm happy with Blitzcrank getting it. I'm interested with Renekton getting it. I don't know why she has healing reduction Katarina technically. I'm fine with Kled getting it in a way. But yeah. Alright, so True Sight champions. While these abilities already provide True Sight, we're taking them a step further and extending the True Sight effect on these champions into the complete CC. So, Karma. W now provides True Sight on rooted targets. So when you got the rooted person, you'll get True Sight on them. And if I'm not mistaken, True Sight is that when like you 100% see where they are? Like even Akali. Again, all of this is mainly because of Akali, it seems. Because Riot reworked stealth. And then when Akali came out, the guy that designed Akali ignored everything that Riot did 6 months before that. And then they were like, she has true stealth. So I believe these two champions, which, if they are focusing Akali here somewhat, I'm not really sure. because I'm not sure what other champion would have True Sight. Because if you... Kha'Zix, I guess? Because if... Well, no, Kha'Zix you can see. Because, yeah, he doesn't have true thing. Because if Kha'Zix goes under tower with his ultimate, you still see Kha'Zix. The same with Twitch. The same with Evelynn. Same with Rengar. But with I guess this is like, you know, you latch W on somebody as Karma. They then stealth. You'll see them when they get latched, you know, rooted, I guess. It's a bit confusing because I kind of thought they got rid of Akali's true stealth in a way, but then also LeBlanc's E does it. So if it is an Akali thing, well, both of these champions go against Akali. Morgana also goes against Akali. All of these abilities, I'm fine with having true. What's it called? True Sight. True Sight. Yeah, that's fine. It's basically when they get rooted. So all of them are the same. They're all kind of like a line that's on somebody, and after a while, someone gets rooted. They're all the same. They all do the same True Sight thing. That's fine. Anti-mobility. So because mobility is such a prominent feature on many mainstay champions, we're increasing the power and number of anti-mobility options that players have against them. This should opens up for more opportunities like Ahri, Cassiopeia, and Poppy to outplay their slippier opponents. So, when you think of anti-mobility, I am thinking of something like Cassiopeia W, because you can't use a mobility spell in Cassiopeia W. Poppy denies dashes in her W, and then okay, so that's what they're doing. So Ahri, here we go. With Ahri's charm, when something is hit, she now cancels in progress dashes. That's kind of cool. So, like, say there's a Camille in the game, or let's do a better example. Say there's a Lucian in the game, that's just easier, and Lucian pressed E, but Ahri hit him midway through his E. Really good charm hit. Before, he would have still dashed, but he probably would have dashed towards the Ahri. Now, the dash is just cancelled. Like, it's just, boof, all the mobility of that is just gone. That's interesting. And then the damage bonus duration while you have your charm, because remember there's I think a 20% damage bonus when you hit a charm target and then hit your spells, is now being nerfed. I guess because in their mind, because you're taking away the mobility, you can hit things more accurately maybe when you charm things. Okay. The W, ooh, that's a big buff for Cassiopeia. Buffering, dude. So if you don't know what buffering is basically Q spelling. So when you're playing a spam champion, you know, like Cassiopeia, you have to spam to make the champion work, like Q, W, E, 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 E. If you're spamming E, it will only happen, right before this change, it would only have happened when it could actually happen in game. So if you're spamming it, you might be spamming it at a bad time. Now, Q buffering, or spell buffering, is taking into account knowing that you're spamming that ability, so it'll basically just cast the next E whenever it's available because you're queuing it, right? It's actually a pretty good buff. And yeah, it's milliseconds we're talking about of difference, but there are milliseconds sometimes chances of getting a kill and not getting a kill in a 1v1 situation. That's a big deal for Cassiopeia players, trust me. As for her, she's getting a buff, seems, in stats. So Cassiopeia hasn't been in the game for a while. So they're increasing her health by quite a fair margin. She is also getting tankier. They're nerfing her mana pool? Ooh! So again, they're nerfing her early mana pool, but increasing her mana growth. So by, you know, basic math, they're nerfing it by what? 130, give or take. And they're buffing the mana growth by more or less 9 if we just go basic maths. So basically, for this to become a buff, you need to be level like 11 or thereabout, level 10-ish for it to you get more mana in your pool. Before that point, you have less mana than you used to on Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia really struggles with mana. So that's weird. That's okay, sure. And then she's got less armor, but again, you're strengthening her health. You're strengthening her mana in late game. Oh god. Again, one of Cassiopeia's technical weaknesses is AD champions if they're very good players. But anyway, the W is minimum cast range has gone away. That helps, because it was actually so annoying that like an AD assassin or someone could be on top of you. Can't do anything about it, or as a Cassio, you can't press W. It's a minimum range. So you now can press W on yourself and then get away or like deny the movement. So the minimum cast range... Hang on, what? No longer has a minimum cast range. Maximum cast range. Helps if I read it properly. So it can't go as far because she can now cast it on herself. And it has now also received a nerf buff. Early game, it's nerfed. And then by around rank 3, it becomes a second different. And then by rank 4, it's a buff. And then it's actually a 4-second buff compared to what it used to be. So late game power. Twin Fang. Cassiopeia heals for 75% less when she poisons minions and small monsters. Oh, she heals... yeah, okay. And then her heal is... They're getting rid of the flat plus ability. Is now just a flat percentage of her ability power. That will probably work out as a buff, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon that'll be a buff in mid to late game. And then her E, it's a slight nerf... or slightly more expensive in the early game, but by rank 3 it's the same, and then it's a technical buff in late game. Okay. Again, like I said earlier, it was confusing to see Cassiopeia in this list because she's already got anti-mobility. They've just refreshed it. That's all they've done. That's fine. You might see Cassiopeia more, because Cassiopeia, in theory, is a counter to Zed, Yasuo, Akali even. All those mobility assassins, Cassiopeia should do really well against them. And now, hopefully, even better. And then Poppy, her W, if Poppy stops an enemy from dashing or casting a movement ability, she grounds and slows them by 25% for 2 seconds. Oh, that's really nice. Again, I occasionally pull out Poppy if it's like an Aurelia or something, quite annoying in top lane. That's, like, we kill things as Poppy, remember? Like, we straight up are quite aggressive as that champion and kill things like Aurelia's. Because people don't expect it, the W sometimes, and now they're buffing the W. Yeah, I definitely think Poppy could be pretty good in top lane now. So top lanes might have a little bit of a reshuffle. Renekton stronger, Poppy stronger, Kled anti-healing. So yeah, maybe some new or newer picks in top lane are making a resurgence. Aatrox. So by the way, we are now in the champion balance parts. Oh wow, I just looked over to the right. Just to show you guys what's coming up, because this is kind of crazy. So a big complaint that a lot of top laners have had recently about ranged top laners. Just to point out, here's the little key that shows you guys what's in here. We're here on Champion Balance. There is a whole section on ranged top laners. That's going to be interesting. I wonder what's happening there. I wonder if they're going to try and get rid of ranged top laners. Again, I'm the type of player that just accepts kind of what's in the game and I'll deal with it. I'll adjust to it. There's plenty of people that don't adjust to it and they kind of just stand their ground going, no, I play this champion and not that. So I guess, yeah. Again, I grant you, though, that ranged top laners are annoying. So Aatrox. Again, there are so many changes, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to go into all of them in detail. So I'm just going to read the little thing here and have a very quick look at the balancing. Base health regen growth increased. Are no longer revive. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. He no longer has a revive at all. Like, even when they changed it, because obviously they bring him out, he has a revive. Then they bring him out, and then he has to kill something or get an assist. He has then a revive. No revive anymore whatsoever. It's like, okay. Again, I do think Aatrox was too strong, but I kind of think the revive was kind of part of his identity as a champion, but not anymore. Amplified self-healing increased and cooldown decreased. So they're going to make him stronger when it comes to, like, his healing, so he stays alive, hopefully easier rather than dying, because obviously the revive is gone. So that's gone up by a little bit. That'll help him in lane phase to revive, regen a bit. And then the healing is buffed in the early game, pretty much. So it helps his lane phase, mid game, and then late game is the same. And then the cooldown, that is actually quite a big buff. 20-second buff across the round. Yeah, that's pretty big. 20 seconds, if you get your ultimate up before your opponent in top lane, you go all in. And, if you said the average top laner's ultimate is around 140 seconds, at rank 1, when Aatrox could technically try and all in 20 seconds faster if it's an aggressive Aatrox player. So that's pretty big. Akali, you know, the Death and Bane champion in League. W cooldown flattened, energy restore flattened, duration extension removed, stealth type changed, okay, QAP ratio increased, E damage increased, R cooldown increased, so that's a nerf. So, magic resistance has gone up, health growth has gone up, so tankier, you know, generally. Her Q damage has gone up by 0.1, buff. W, which is the main problem that people had. She used to be, apparently it was called Obscurity. I'd never heard of that term before, but okay. She is now called Invisibility, which I believe is a pre-existing stealth type in the game. Akali is now fully revealed by true sight effects rather than only her outline. God, Riot really need to make up what they're doing. So, in you know, summary, the 3 champions that we saw earlier that have now that true sight effect, Karma, LeBlanc, and Morgana, can now fully get vision of Akali in her W. I think that is the only true sight effects now in the game. I don't think anything else is true sight. Maybe, well, Ignite, in my opinion, Ignite, when you ignite somebody, that should give true sight while the Ignite is on somebody. And you know, the red trinket, that's not true sight. That just gives the outline. So, still an issue champion for sure. I don't think, I personally, and you guys can let me know, I don't think a stealth type in the game should exist that is just, they're completely stealthed. If they get hit by damage, in like every game, in every video game out there, a rogue type character that is stealthed, if they get hit by damage, they stop stealthing. Like that is how video game stealthing in my mind works. And Akali, what caused all the friction is Akali just went completely against that. It was like, towers? Obviously that towers don't work anymore, but they still don't give vision, I believe. They just get the outline and she takes tower damage. You as a player don't get the vision, I think. It's just weird. The cooldown, however, has got wow, that's a nerf. So some people are like, oh, look, it got buffed in the early game. Yeah, but 7-second nerf in the late game. And obviously take into account that's no cooldown reduction, so take 40% off that. So it's going to be, what, 15, 16-second ultimate W timer, where before it was probably about 10 seconds. But yeah, woo, that's a big nerf. And then the energy restore, that's been buffed. That's her late game energy restore. So potentially, I will say, she could have a stronger early game, which already was an issue for Akali, I must add. Like, she beats everything at, like, level 3, and it's like, this is a melee champion. Because, you know, tankier, buffed early game, kinda. Yeah, buffed early game. And then, how about the early game? So, the damage is flat less for her E. The ratio also has been halved. But they are now giving her a AP ratio, which it never used to have. So with AP, that's probably balanced to what it used to be equally, but now it's doing hybrid damage, so that's technically stronger because you can't counter it as easy. You need to build both armor and magic resist. And then the dash damage, same story. So the same damage reduction by the looks of it, the same attack damage ratio, but it's also getting ability power. So that is also annoying because now she does proper hybrid damage. So that means, you know, her normal item build where she goes Gunblade first or whatever is doing more than it used to, because the AD is actually, the AP of the item is actually now getting used for her E. And her ultimate has been nerfed quite hard. So a 30-second nerf at maximum rank. So Akali's weird because some of the buffs seem quite strong and some of the nerfs seem really strong too. So it's kind of like both sides, like both sides of Akali, of her being strong and weak, are both being kind of like bent. They're both like, she's weaker and she's stronger. It's weird. I guess I presume Akali players are unhappy about this. And again, I've said before, I have spoken to Akali players that legit wish the rework never happened because they always got to play their champion. Akali was never known as a broken champ, and now she's nearly permabanned and is like one of these champions that the community as a whole kind of just hates. So yeah, I kind of feel sorry because she's a cool champion. I've got no ill will to the champion design. Like, as for like, she's a stealth, you know, assassin type thing. That's cool, but some of the mechanics of the champion are just unhealthy for the game. So, and it's mainly the W. But yeah, weird. Alistair, base mana and mana growth increase, so that'll just help his lane phase mainly because he goes pretty quick. Aurelion Sol, Q max stun duration and radius growth per second increased. Oh, nice. E movement speed now scales with level. So the weird thing about Aurelion Sol is it doesn't really matter what they do to the champion because he's always going to be a one-trick champ. The reason why I say that is Aurelion Sol has one of the most unique playstyles in the game of League of Legends when it comes to a mid lane champion. Heavy roaming champion, and literally if you don't roam an Aurelion, you're playing him wrong. It's that simple. And they're just making him stronger, it looks like. So Aurelion players will be smiling ear to ear, I imagine, but it doesn't really make an impact on anybody else. Obviously, we'll be playing against them, so take note of it, because if you see an Aurelion in your game, you want to know this stuff. But his Q is just going to be bigger and stuns for more. So, strong. Bard. Base health increased, health regen decreased. E travel speed increased, ally bonus speed flattened. So his health has gone up, tankier. Health regen has gone down, you know, that's fine, he's got a heal. And then Magical Journey, you go faster in Magical Journey, and the bonus speed is now flattened to around rank 3, roughly. Okay, that's fine. And then Diana, passive and R bug fixes, Q arc speed decrease, and W cost bug fixed. Diana is one of those, like, weirdly strong champions, but was she weirdly strong because she had bugs? Her passive will no longer occasionally do unintended additional damage to turrets, so she did more damage to turrets randomly. Her speed has gone down by 200, and 200 nerf on each. Again, relative speed in League of Legends, it's hard to kind of put on it, because if you, all the speeds are calculated, like a champion movement speed is 435 or 440. Think of that, but that's just the speed of her strike if you times it and all that. It's a bit complicated to fully say, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit slower, not massively. Her W is now costing more in late game, and her ultimate, Lunar Rush, can no longer be reset twice when a reset was timed with a new application of Moonlight. Oh, that was a bug? Okay, I thought that was just like a pretty good, like, Diana player that timed her ultimate really well. I believe what that was, when Diana players R'd first and Q'd, or like they might have Q'd first, but it kind of looked like they R first, then Q, and by the time they get to the target, the Q's landed and it would have reset their R. I think that's what they're on about, and apparently that might have been a bug. Apparently that can't have happened for some reason. Okay. Galio, passive cooldown reduction removed, cooldown decreased, damage increased, Q cooldown and damage increased, cost decreased late, W now interruptible by CC, that makes sense, and restricts flash during channel. Oh, snap, that sucks. You can't flash during your taunt? Oh, why? I think that was fine. Again, when was the last time... Wait, what? Galio has been a long pro play regular? I know I don't watch all the pro play anymore, but when was Galio played? Like, a while ago? Like, I don't know. Okay. Mana growth has gone up considerably. Cool. They've removed... Colossal Smash cooldown is no longer reduced every time Galio hits a unique enemy. So they got rid of that. Okay, so he can't go bang, bang, bang in a team fight. But the cooldown of it has gone lower. The damage of it has also been buffed. Flat damage is now 160 instead of 80. And it starts at higher damage. So the base damage is higher. The attack damage ratio is the same. Oh, it's just a buff. Okay, so you can't go, like, hit that champion, get it reset, hit that champion, get it reset, but it's actually doing more damage if you're just doing it once. So for lane phase, this will help you quite a bit, because it does bonus damage based on how much magic resist you have too, and it's been buffed by 0.2. That's cool. Q. Cooldown has been nerfed. It's longer now, so it starts at 14 seconds instead of 10, and it finishes on 10 instead of 8. So that's a pretty big nerf. The gust damage, however, has been buffed slightly, and the cost has been nerfed. So it's cheaper, it does slightly more damage in late game, but it's on cooldown more. And then the W is grounded. Galio cannot flash while channeling Shielded Durand. I think that's kind of poop. I actually think that was a kind of unique thing he could have done. And then Shielded Durand can now be interrupted by all CC. So even when, like, you know, he's doing it, if you were playing Alistair and you queued him before, he'd still be able to channel and taunt you. Well, now it just cancelled it. So, okay. And now the self-slow, he is not as slow while he's casting it, however. I'm not sure what I think about that. Because, again, last time I saw a Galio, again, I know they mentioned this is a pro play change that they're making. But again, for the Galio players out there, to me, this feels like a nerf, kind of. And I haven't even seen a Galio in months, maybe. Jin, W cooldown decreased, root damage duration increase. So it you can do it more often, and it roots for longer. That's just a overall buff. Lux. So we have spoken about this quite a lot. So yeah. Q cooldown increased early, decreased late, cost flattened. W double shield on return removed, so it no longer does the double shield, which was the kind of point of Lux support. Shield ratio has been increased because you can't double hit it anymore, but the shield duration has been decreased. R cooldown reset removed. Oh, really? Damn, that even hurts mid lane Lux. Cooldown decreased, late ratio increase, so it might do more damage. Right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So, pretty big nerf, 3-second nerf, because again, the annoying thing of especially Lux support was just Q, 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 and now it also costs a little bit more mana in the early game, so you can't spam it as much. Here is the big kicker for people that played Lux support, though. Again, if you knew anything about the champion, it was the double hit of the shield. It wasn't the poke damage. Like, a lot of people, the noobs out there play Lux support and build full AP. The smart Lux players built her as a support, built, you know, all the shield items and run after, oh, not Aftershock. Was it Aftershock? It might have been. But it was the double hit of the W that made this champion viable in support. That is now going away. So, yeah. So, it is same as outgoing shield. Returning shield still stacks with outgoing shield. So, it no longer does the double outgoing shield. But it still, well, does it still double? But it's just not as big as it used to be. Because, again, I grant you, when Riot made all this change of Lux originally, it's a big shield. Like, it genuinely, when you get the double hit and everything, it was like, whoa. It was like a 400 shield. And it was like, okay. And she can do that to her whole team. So to me, again, from what I've been talking to other support players who have also said this is a big nerf for Lux support. But what people are saying is, you know, Lux mid lane is this could bring back Lux mid, not Lux support, because the shield is still useful when you're mid lane, but it is not the primary factor while you're playing Lux as mid. When you're playing Lux support, you're playing her for the shield, and obviously the Q, which has also been nerfed. So the shield duration, however, has gone down, and the AP ratio, I bet, has gone up. Yeah, so the shield ratio has gone up, which again is a buff to mid lane Lux, because she builds AP, support Lux doesn't really. Like, obviously a little bit, but not too much. Not to make this a big enough difference to care about in support. And then the maximum shield is the 150, so they're getting rid of that. So the maximum shield is now only 100 at rank 1, and then maximum is 220 at maximum rank. So that is 110 damage nerf, or shield nerf, at maximum rank. Wow, that's quite big. I'd love to know what like Lulu shield is maximum. But yeah, okay, so yeah, that's where the nerf is. And then the ult, that kind of sucks. So no longer refunds a percentage of its maximum cooldown when hitting at least one enemy champion that dies within a certain amount of time. But they are bringing down the maximum, you know, it's going to be a 40-second ultimate, then take 40% cooldown reduction. So it's still a really quick cast. If you go precision as well, you can get the rune that does it anyway. Or domination, and you can get the so if you go domination, if you really wanted to, domination and precision, you could still get a very quick, maybe a 20-second ultimate timer. But again, I kind of like the ult reset, but that does hurt a bit, but it's also doing more damage. So like I mentioned earlier, they're trying to make people build AP on the Lux, which would be mid lane Lux, because they're giving more ability power ratios. They're taking away the shield, and they're giving her more damage. Now, some people out there, I know it, I already can see in other comments going, oh, I can still play it support, I'll just build AP. Again, that's where the problem that I've spoken about in the past of when you're building AP Lux, she is very item heavy, which you're not going to get as a support. If you're just wanting an AP bot laner, Brand, Vel'Koz, do those because they're not item reliant. Vel'Koz has true damage. Brand has got percentage health damage. Those are better options. And especially now that they've even removed her shield strength, Janna, Lulu are just going to be stronger options for shielding. Obviously, Lux still has her pick potential. That's still pretty good. But yeah, interesting. Malphite, Q slow increased, slow duration decreased, W empower basic attacks on cast and cleaves in a cone, cost increased and scales with rank, and he has now got VFX and quality of life updates. So he's got a new look to him, he's been all polished and everything. I haven't seen actually what he looks like now, but that I presume would... graphic effects. VFX is usually just graphic effects for his like abilities. I don't know if the actual model of Malphite has changed at all. But Malphite is slightly smaller at the start of the game. Oh, cool. Malphite's size now increases with armor, capping... Oh, I like that. Hell yeah, dude. He is supposed to be a Goliath, and I actually like when champions change throughout the game. Like Cho'Gath, he gets bigger as you eat things. That's cool. I love it, because, again, the more tanky he is, he should be more presence. He'll be like, I am the big tank, hit me. I like that a lot. I think that's really cool. Hell yeah. Thumbs up, Riot. He now gains this. Shield regeneration VFX added. So he now gets like a little thing that happens when his shield comes back, I guess, because he has a passive shield. His Q, improved cast animations for most skins. He now has... Malphite now spawns his rocks 100 units in front of him rather than the center point. Oh, so... they don't just come out of Malphite anymore. It's like he's an earthbender and he's like bringing it up from Summoner's Rift. That's cool. The slow is buffed. The duration, however, is nerfed, but it probably balances out as a slight buff. And then W, Thunderclap. Dude, he's a Tauren from World of Warcraft. Malphite's next basic attacks within 6 seconds gain 50 increased ranged. Ooh. And deals damage with ability power and armor ratio. Oh, I like that. Bonus physical damage. Then, for the next 5 seconds after casting, Malphite's basic attacks cleave enemies into a cone, which already did something similar to that. Dealing damage, which is ability power plus armor ratio, physical damage, to enemies hit. And it costs more mana than it used to. I like it. Again, Malphite is a very boring champion, but he's effective in some places. In high racing, less effective unless you build a team comp with him, that you have things that can like root things in place, or you have a team comp that if Malphite misses his ultimate, someone flashes his ultimate, then you have something else to go on that. So a great example to have is a Leona with a Malphite is a great combo, because one of them does the engage first, and if it misses, then the other one can go for it. Example, Leona goes for an engage with her ultimate, and Ezreal uses his E to E out of the Leona ultimate, and he doesn't have flash up. That then means the Malphite can then go on him. Or vice versa. Malphite ults, the Ezreal gets out the way, then Leona can go in. That's what Malphite needs a lot of the time. Because, yeah, he can miss his ultimate, especially in high rating, very easily. But overall, pretty cool. Honestly, pretty cool. And again, this will be a nice kind of counter to... like, you know, Renekton got a shield chunk. Shield over a Malphite, you know? So, interesting. Mordekaiser. Some people think Mordekaiser's too strong, and even right, Mordekaiser's too strong. Again, I haven't seen crazy examples. Again, he's been banned most of the games, which obviously kind of maybe shows that he's too strong. But even the ones that I've got through, I've never kind of just gone, whoa. Like, when he first came out, yes. But after the hotfixes, of the ones I've seen, I haven't seen one just can take over the game, like some people have been saying. So, yeah. But his base damage, I presume, has gone down. It has by a considerable amount of his passive. No longer activates Mordekaiser's corpse if it procs via Death's Grasp hitting 3 enemies. That was a bug. So apparently when he was dead, his passive could have procced. That's funny. And then his E, Magic Penetration, has also been nerfed by quite a bit. 10% of maximum rank. That's a big nerf. Nidalee, Cougar E. Haven't seen many Nidalees. You know, it's again mainly a one-trick champion nowadays. Base damage, however, has been buffed by 10 across the board, so that will help a little bit here and there. Pyke E now stuns non-champions. R deals reduced damage to surviving enemies. Now grants Pyke additional Your Cut Gold as well. So, E, it now can stun things, because, you know, we played Pyke, I think I played it on stream the other day, and I E through a minion wave, and nothing happened. I forgot that they got rid of, like, him doing anything, because they wanted to get him out of top lane. So the E didn't do any wave clear, didn't hit minions, and the Q doesn't do any AoE anymore. Like, if you just jab Q, it used to do AoE, doesn't do any AoE. So they still want to keep him out of top lane. Riot don't like top lane Pyke. But what do they say here? Pyke's 913 changes have intended cause equalizing performance between support and solo Pyke, but left solo Pyke with some room for buffs. So they're saying these are buffs to solo Pyke. I'm gonna tell you guys, I saw even myself quite a lot of solo Pyke before 913. Since 913, I don't think I've seen a single one. Maybe Riot's going, oh, this will bring him back. I genuinely don't think Riot wants solo Pyke. Genuinely. But then the ultimate deals 50% reduced damage to enemies that survive deaths from below. Oh. Wait, what? Deals 50% reduced damage to enemies. So what, if he fails his execute? Oh, wow. Because sometimes Pykes just use their ultimate to then get to people to auto-attack or Q. So if you don't execute them, you then also do less damage to them too. Ooh, that's a nerf to solo. Like, what? Isn't that just a nerf to solo Pyke as well? I don't know. And then the split bounty, when Pyke kills an enemy with death or below his ultimate, the last assisting ally, the last assisting ally and Pyke are granted your cut. When Pyke assists on a following kill below, he receives 2 your cut. Does that mean he's getting 600 gold per kill with his ult? Yeah, he is, isn't he? Wow, he is. Because, whoa, sorry, he is. He's getting double the kill gold, basically, now. Before, if you got the kill, you'd get, obviously, the kill, and the person would get the gold, the share. You and an ally, even if you get the kill, you're getting a cut as well. You know, another kill of the gold. And then if you're getting an assist, you're getting 2 your cut. Wow, that's a lot of gold. And then Death from Below icon now shows next to Pyke's health bar when it can be cast for free. So it's just kind of showing people... Well, I don't know if that's just for Pyke. That might be just for Pyke. But yeah, wow. So, in theory, if a Pyke pops off now with his ultimate and is getting kill, he gets bank. Like, oh my god. If he gets 2 kills with his ultimate, it's 1,200 gold. Whew. Rise. Base health regen. By the way, how close are we? Oh my god, dude. This is a huge patch. How long have we been going for? 40 minutes? Oh my god. Okay. Right, we're going to just speed through a bit because this is probably going to be an hour, of patch notes. If you've made it this far, we'll have a keyword right now. If you made it this far, in the comment section, say banana, and I know you'll made it to the end. Oh, not to the end. This moment. And we'll do another one for the end. Rise. Base health regen and health regen growth increased. Q&E bug fixes. Ability cast now buffer. So like we spoke about earlier with Cassiopeia, that helps with spamming champions, and Rise is definitely a spamming champion. So that's a buff in damage output. Buff. I don't care about bug fixes. Ooh, probably just buffs to Rise. Singed. Q recast timer increased. Brighter ability icon toggle on in spellbar. That was a Reddit complaint. Reddit had a complaint that people were like, I don't know when my Q is on, or sometimes I press Q and then I accidentally press it again and it cancels it, and then I couldn't tell when it was on or off. Now you literally can't double tap it and it will cancel, so that's good. And you also know when it's on easier. So for Singed players, that's probably a big deal. Swain, another big thing. Stop, my drink's making a noise. I will try the Swain out. I'm not going to go into it crazy detail, but I will cover the new Swain in a video in the next couple of days. Because people, trust me, I've been having crazy people like going, or not crazy people, crazy messages of people going, play Swain. Yeah, again, Swain was a champion that I liked in his rework. I just got bored of it. A lot of it, I will say, was the annoyance of having to have soul fragments to do anything with your ultimate. You now no longer have to have any soul fragments to do your ultimate, by the way. So yeah, that's good. I believe. Where is it? It would be here. Yeah, there you go. So it now costs 100 mana because you don't have to have soul fragments. But it now just scales with soul fragments, which is fine. So yeah, we'll go over that in detail in the video that I do. Silas, passive damage versus minions less reduced. Q detonation damage increased. E shield granted on first cast no longer blocks non-magic damage but blocks all magic damage for a duration. Cooldown flattened. Second cast duration decreased. Jesus, there's so much to read. Arc cast range decreased. Recast window decreased. Cooldown increased. AD to AP ratio conversion decreased. Whew, this is crazy, dude. So minion damage has been buffed because that's damage reduction, so he can kill minions easier with his passive, the AoE after an ability. This is a buff with his Q. His E now shields him against all magic damage for 2 seconds on his first cast, which I believe they changed last patch, now changed it back. And it's also been buffed on cooldown, and it's been nerfed on the stun, but that's fine. You can do it more regularly in the early game. The ultimate has gone down of how long you can hijack something from. You can hold it for less time, so you've got to be quicker to use it. The cooldown has been nerfed. Wow, mega nerfed. So it was 15 seconds, it's now a whole minute. So that's a very big nerf, because sometimes in team fights, an extended team fight, Silas could ult twice, 3 times sometimes. Now he can't, so that's a big nerf. The AP conversion has also been looking to gone down, maybe. Yeah, it's a nerf. It's a nerf because he builds AP. You know, it's giving attack damage bonus, but 0.4 ability power to 1.0 bonus attack damage. 0.6 ability power to 1 total attack damage. I think that's a nerf. Like, it might do more damage slightly, but it's a nerf of like the actual ability itself. Tahm Kench. I'm just going to read these now. Passive damage health scaling increase. Stacks no longer increase ability damage. Abilities no longer apply stacks. Oh wow, really? So his landing a Q won't actually give you a stack for his passive? Wow, rip. W1 near sight on enemies removed. W2 stun on enemies removed. Are they butchering him? E stores less grey health but heals for a slightly higher percent. Cooldown reduced but starts on shield expiring. Oh, bye Tahm Kench. What the hell? Yeah, again, Jesus. So the slow's gone up on his Q. No longer hits enemies in a wide arc in front of Tahm Kench cast, so you've got to be more accurate with it. Cooldown's been nerfed. Stunning an enemy with Tongue Lash consumes all stacks. Ooh, it consumes all the stacks, so you have to choose, do you want to stun them or do you want to eat them? Interesting. I think anyway, right? Because to devour something, you need 3 stacks, I think. Enemies are no longer nearsighted while devoured, so you can actually see where you are when you're inside him for some reason. Enemies are no longer stunned for 0.2 seconds after they're regurgitated. Okay, so yeah, that's a nerf. Because you could always get like an extra Q after you throw them out your mouth. Now people might be able to get out the way. Damage ratio has gone... It's flattened, so it's now his rank 3. So it's a nerf for late game, buff for early game. Maximum monster damage has been flattened to maximum as rank 3. And now new, Tahm Kench can now devour and regurgitate the jungle stuff. So I guess if people wanted to jungle him. Grey health, you can store less, but it heals for more. Way more, actually. So that's interesting. Again, that's a nerf, remember, because of Kled. So if either Renekton or Kled go against Tahm Kench is screwed. Interesting. Urgot, W recast timer decreased. Okay, so that's a slight buff, so you can put it on and off quicker. Yumi, passive shield decreased, mana restore removed. Q empowered damage decreased, cost increased. E missing HP scaling increased, cost decreased. So the shield is less for her. The mana restore is gone. The empowered damage is less, but it has scaling, so in late game it might do more. But it costs more. Zoomies now gives more movement speed. And it costs less. So just some balancing for Yumi, really. Whew, guys, we made it through that section. Jesus Christ. Okay. Range top laners. Whew. Jace. Is he getting more nerfs? Wait, what? He got butchered last patch. Again, haven't seen any Jaces, because, yeah, I played Jace. Notice I don't play Jace anymore. He got really nerfed. And remember, Jace got nerfed with, I believe, a 48% win rate. So again, win rates mean nothing. Because, yeah, he got nerfed with a 48% win rate when everybody was complaining about ranged top lanes. He had a 48% win rate. After the nerf, he had a 45% win rate. Attack damage has gone down. Attack damage growth has gone up. So, base stats, so you'll, by level 4 or 5, it's a buff by that level. But you won't be bullying people as much between level 1 and 5, so that's fine. And then the Q is a flat nerf for the damage, apart from late game. Where does it overtake? So it flattens out a rank 4. Yeah, it flattens out a rank 4, and then it's a buff. And it's also a 0.2 stronger ratio. So that's actually a Jace buff for his mid to late game, which is what Jace needed. Jace did fall off. His early game, I admit, was too strong because he could bully things. So I actually agree with this balance. So that's fine. Kennen, attack damage has gone down. Attack damage growth has gone up. Attack speed has gone down. His E, bonus attack speed, has gone up. Wait, what? A handful of ranged top lanes are donable picks in play because a combination of safe early with the damage out, blah, 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 blah. Have all the following attributes, blah, 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 blah. Basic attacks and powerful disengage abilities. With these changes, are attempted to push these champions' harass power down for the first few levels. For scaling. Oh, okay. So, because they're buffs. So, again, I guess they're nerfs for what people complain about, the early levels, but they're actually buffs for everything else. So, right, okay. And then Nico, I would imagine Nico has the biggest nerfs. 4, but then 0.5 ratio increase. So in 4 levels, it makes up the difference. No, 8 levels, it makes up the difference. My mind's going loopy and it's 27 degrees in my room, Celsius. It's warm. Attack speed has gone down, but the attack speed growth has gone up by 0.5 as well. So, again, early lane phase. Nico no longer loses her disguise when basing attacking enemy champions. Oh, that's quite big. Okay, cool. And then the movement speed has gone down considerably. So, yeah, that's good for top lane. I can definitely agree with that nerf. But other than that, I'm okay with this. This actually might bring me back to Jace, because if I'm stronger at level roughly 5, and then I have a better ratio on my Q by 0.2, and I can get 200 damage, 200 AD easily on my on Jace. Yeah, maybe he could bring back. Jace could be back a little bit. You know, it's not going to bring new people to the champion, but for those of us that enjoy playing Jace, it could bring us back to the champion. So yeah, I don't care about ARAM nerfs. The new death recap is now live, so we have been, by the way, waiting for this for a very long time. It now includes things like type breakdowns of damage, so you know, hey, I'm getting hit by magic damage more, or physical damage. And we had that information before, but then there's like a pie chart that actually shows you visibly, so you'll be able to tell a lot more. The fight duration is now better because, you know, that's good. How long you were CC'd. So this is great. We've been waiting for this for ages. So there is also now a showed allied chat. If you're somebody that literally does not care about the social aspect of teammates in solo queue, you can now have it off. You don't have to mute everybody. You know, there's those players out there that mute all at the beginning of the game. You can now have it off from the beginning of the game. I don't think it will mute, obviously, champion select or the after screen. But if you want that, there you go. Or, again, so this is used for 2 things. People that don't like toxicity, they just want to play their game, boom, you're in. Or if you are a toxic individual and you don't trust yourself, again, this isn't my words. There are people that have said this. They want an option to take the chat away from them, even if they're not chat restricted. It's a way of doing it. And obviously, yes, you can always, in the game, go settings, interface, chat. You can turn it back on. But sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it will make you think, going, oh, I want to toxic and be ragey to these people. And you can't type to them. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to turn it off or whatever, but maybe that will stop you going into a menu. So it's probably a good thing overall. I actually believe this is for TFT. Also, I need to sneeze in a second. But yeah, people don't care about chat in TFT. I don't care about chat in TFT. So in TFT, I'll probably turn chat off. But yeah. Bug fixes, upcoming skins with the chromas. Doesn't look like we're getting a League Partner chroma, because usually that black square would be the League Partner chroma. But there we go. Holy moly, guys. We're nearly at the hour point. Again, apologies for skipping quite quickly through some champions. This has been insane. And yeah, this is literally one of the biggest patches of the season, which is really weird. Again, I guess we're not... Well, we're about 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months away from Worlds. So this might be the biggest patch before Worlds. They'll obviously have more patches, and they'll have what they officially call the Worlds patch. But I don't see anything having as many changes as this. And I will also say, this stuff here, this 3 stuff, this is experimental stuff. They're going to see what this is like. And just to make it very clear for people, it gets rid of all shields. There was a video circulating, I think one of the Renekton players did it, that they literally made the biggest shield that they possibly could on an enemy champion, you know, everything. They all had Ardent Sensor. It was a Lulu, a Janna, a Karma. Every shield they threw on the same thing. Renekton with 50% Fury W'd it, the shield's gone. Like, it's just gone. Same with Blitzcrank R. So, that's interesting. But yeah, if you made it through the end, obviously we had a keyword earlier. The keyword now will be Apple. So say the keyword that you knew earlier if you were there, and now say Apple in the comments, and I'll know you made it through the whole end of the video, because holy Jesus, I doubt there's many of you. But hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. Again, I don't do these often, and I only do them on big patches, and woo boy, this was a big patch. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. See you.